many slept out in the parking lot? So you got the first one here this morning. Nobody. Okay, well, that's great. I'm glad. You know, I was watching an article or reading an article, however you want to say, in a church in North Carolina. They had a 10-day revival. It's called Cobra. And there were guys camped out in pub tents in the church yards. They could be the first ones in the church that night. And I thought, man, I got a long way to go. You know, I'm just like opening the door begging people to come in. God, come on in. Amen. So it's good to be in the house of the Lord. It's good to see you guys. Just want to start a new series today. Boom. Brother Ethan, where's that? That's not what it is. Well, there we go. Come and see. And we're having issues with this TV. Somebody rebuked the devil out of the TV in the name of Jesus. It's just, it's on my last nerve, and Kevin's about to pull the rest of his hair out, and so he's gonna fix it. He says, and he's really, I think he's gonna shoot it. And he's had issues with it the last couple of weeks, and it'll work for a while, then it'll do that, and then it'll come back on. It'll work for a while, then we'll do that. So we're gonna try to replace the cable. I think that's the last thing we can replace, and if it's not that, I don't know what to say. And so we'll figure it out. But we're going to do Come and See. We're starting this morning with Come and See. And I want you to ask yourself, why are you here this morning? What is it that you wanted to see this morning? What is it you came for this morning? Why is it that God is blessing you and coming into your life today? What is it that you want from God today? And I have a confession to make. I've had a rough week, and God has sustained me. God's kept me good, but it's been a rough week. It's just, you know, with Brother Thomas dying, and before I say anything else about that, I got a text from Michelle this morning, and she wanted me to tell the church, thank you so very much. And she's not ready to be here, but she just wanted to let you know how much she appreciated everything that was done for them. Lisa and whoever coordinated the food back there yesterday, fantastic job. Thank you so much for all that. There was so much food back there. We could have fed our family 3 times, and probably will. But there was so much food we were brought and did, and all that stuff. Thank you so much for all that, and for all those who did the slideshows and everything, and cleaned up the church beforehand and after, and all that stuff. Thank you so much, Andy and Drew took the chairs back to Lord's Community last night. I know they were tired. They came back and did all that, and I appreciate that. And for everything that everybody did, we really showed well who God is, and the servanthood and the servant's heart that we're supposed to have, right? We're supposed to be serving. This church is at its best when it's serving. It really is. It's so much. This church is so much better when it's serving than when it's trying to be served. And that's just who we are. And so I appreciate everything you did. She wanted to tell the church thank you so much until she's able to come and tell you herself. She wanted to tell you thank you. And so she texted me this morning. So I'm sharing that with you so I don't forget, okay? Okay? Okay. Just making sure y'all listening. Are y'all okay? Y'all looking at me like I'm going to do a magic trick or something. Nothing up the sleeve. You know? I mean, I don't have any cards or anything. All right, so come and see. That's right. That's right. Okay, that's all right. Anyway, listen. All right. So I want to talk to you just a little bit in John chapter 1, verse 43 through 46. John chapter 1, verse 43 through 46. Y'all pray for me, man. I had to go to convention this week, and I hate convention. And I shouldn't say that on camera. It's not my favorite thing to do. Hey, we're going to edit that out, Teresa.
I don't edit.
Nice to meet your pastor. Amen. Amen. So we're going to come and see. The day following, Jesus would go forth into Galilee and findeth Philip, and said to him, "Follow me." Now Philip was of Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip findeth Nathanael, and says unto him, "We have found him, of whom Moses and the law and the prophets did write, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." And Nathanael said unto him, "Can any good thing come out of Nazareth?" And Philip said unto him, "Come and see." Come and see. Now, I'll talk to you for just a little bit about covenanting. There's got to be some kind of curiosity about what God's doing in somebody's life for you to want to come and see. There's got to be something going on in your life that you would say, I got to go see something different. I got to find something different, and I got to look for a way that my life can be changed in a positive instead of a negative way. I don't care if you're on top this morning and you have all the money you want, and you have all the cars and homes and all that stuff you want. You want your life to be different. You want it to be for the better, right? How many want worse for your children than? Because we'll pray for you. No, you want better for your children, right? You want the next generation to have such a great step up from what you had that you can't hardly stand it. You want them to have a better education. You want them to have a better job. You want them to have a better home, better cars. You want them to have a better family. You want to have a better everything in your life. You want them to learn from you to be better. So there's got to be a curiosity when you're sitting here this morning and you say, you know what, I want to come and see what's going on in my life, and I want to come and see about this Jesus and who Jesus really is, and can He really change my life? Can Jesus really change everything in my life? Because I know in some of our lives that it seems like it gets a little stagnant. Come on. That we've done church so long, we just know how to do church, and we go to church and we just hang out at church, and that's what we do. But can I share something with you that there's got to be something that's got to be changing for the positive? You've got to have a positive change in your life, and if you don't have a positive change, then we're doing something wrong, because God will not leave you like He found you. Can I just say it that way? We found Christ is what Philip told Nathaniel. We found Jesus. We found Him. So you guys heard me preach enough now that you know where my heart is, and my heart is not to sit in a church and just say how great we are. It's not my desire that we sit in the church and say, thank God we're saved and everybody else can go to hell. That's not who we are. That's not who I am. I don't believe in just sitting and saying, well, we used to do this and we used to do that and we used to do all these other things and then we used to have this and we used to have that. I'm not about the used to haves. I don't like the used to haves. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm all about what's going on what's the next 2 steps ahead? What can we do in the next 2 steps? What can we do in the future? I'm looking 20 years in the future, not 10 years in the past. Because if we don't start planning for 20 years in the future, we're going to be obsolete pretty quickly. If we're not looking already for 2040, then we're in trouble. Because 20 years in the future, I'll be 68 years old, and hopefully there'll be a young guy standing up somewhere, and we still have a church that's still going forward, and there's a young guy standing there taking my place, because I don't want to be 90 years old and be in a pulpit. I'll just be honest with you, I don't want to be. That's not my heart's desire. It's not my heart's desire to be 80 years old and be in a pulpit. That's not my heart's desire. It's my heart's desire to do what I can do for the Lord and hand that torch over to somebody and say, you run with it, young man, you run with it. Or young woman, whoever. You run with it, young person, and you do what God's laid on your heart to do. And I got in a conversation this week with a pastor friend of mine. He said, but you never retire from pastoring. I said, well, I can never retire from pastoring. I don't know if I'll never retire from serving God in some capacity. But there's just sometimes that you need to let somebody run with it. Yeah. Come on now. I know my limitations. I know that at 48 years old, I don't have near the energy I had at 45 years old. I've noticed. I don't know why that is. Probably because I'm old and fat. But I'm just saying, I'm not really old, but I'm fat. Okay, and so I need to do something, but I need to do something about that, right? Can somebody help? Can I get a witness? My wife, honey, we're in front of everybody. Okay, and so. She's hateful. And so, but I got to do something. I got to choose to do something about it. Because every Monday we're going to start, right? And every Sunday we're going to start Monday. Come on, help me just a minute. Okay, and so, but every Monday we're going to start, and we're going to go do what God, we're going to do. Yeah, water. no Dr. Pepper, water. But then I drink water and it's like, it's not Dr. Pepper. Okay, it's just, I love it. It's just, man, I've got an ice chest full of water in my truck and it's been there for a week. And trying. But Philip told Nathaniel about Jesus. And you know my heart is this, that we got to go tell somebody about Jesus. I want to be a church of doers. I want to be a church of workers. I am just not that. It just blows my mind, the church of sit and do nothing. I don't get that. I don't get the, oh, well, I came to church Wednesday, I came to church Sunday, hallelujah, I'm great, let's go do nothing for the rest of the week. I can't do that, man. That's why I'm so excited when I see Brenda doing all the stuff that they do, and Ignite doing the stuff they do, and Next Step doing the stuff they do, and our men's ministry and our women's ministry. And if you haven't, I misspoke a while ago. One instance I'm trying to give her money away. It's for Shine, not for Remnant. And so go buy some cakes for Shine, okay? Because they need money. Because they got more money than anybody in the church, but they need more money. And so, because the women have the money. And so, I always have. And so just understand that I'm excited for what they're doing and how they're doing it. But we got to go tell somebody about Jesus. Because if I don't tell somebody about Jesus, then I'm just wasting somebody's air they could be breathing. Because I'm supposed to be a Christian. I am a C. Okay, I am a C-H-R-S-T-I-N. Jordan, every time I hear that song, I think of Jordan. And so, but because she sang as a little girl, like this big. I didn't know she could spell Christian. But she was just a little girl, and I don't know if she spelled it right because she sang it so fast. But still, yeah. Every time I hear that song, I think of little Jordan. And she's not little Jordan anymore. She's like little Jordan now. And so, she's still little Jordan. But if I'm going to be a Christian, I got to be what God has called me to be, and that is a witness to what He's wanted me to do. And so, I went to church this past week with all my little Pentecostal buddies, and I went to church, our convention, and there wasn't a whole lot of people there. There's I don't know, 80, 90 people there, something like that. And our bishop spoke Thursday night. He spoke Thursday night. This week is just gone, so if I'm wrong on the date, sorry. He spoke about the baptism in the Holy Ghost, how we need Holy Ghost moving in our services again. And so people will come and see, and see, he didn't use that word, but I'm going to use that word. So the people will come and see what's going on. And he said we need all that stuff. And of course, all the Pentecostals got all excited. Because if you're in a Pentecostal meeting, you say Pentecostal and say Holy Ghost, people get excited. Okay. God preaching. Let me tell you, there's some buzzwords, okay? You ready? You ready? I can preach this and 50 people will shout. And the walls are going to fall down and Jesus is going to walk through. I can preach it like that and y'all get excited. Some of y'all. Some of y'all are like, whatever. And so, but anyway, listen. But he preached about that and he said some things like that. About the baptism of the Holy Ghost, and it was great, a great service, a good service, and a good message, and it was all fantastic. But I understand this. But we got to get excited about what God's doing, or nobody's going to come and see who Jesus is. If you're sitting around going, yeah, I go to church. Well, I don't care if you go to church or not. Your buddies, your friends, hey, you go to that church down there? Yeah, that's okay. Well, I got to show up. I wouldn't want to show up to something. It's okay. It's okay. It's not, Jesus is who He's supposed to be, and Jesus is real, and Jesus is all this and all that. But listen, but when Philip told Nathaniel about Jesus, he was excited about who Jesus was. He was excited about who he had found. He was excited about what was going on in his life, and how Jesus had mentioned him and called him and said, come follow me. And Philip went down, and he not only told Nathaniel, but he went and found Nathaniel. He went and said, I got to go search somebody out. I got to tell him about Jesus because I got to find him. I got to find the one who I got to, listen, I'm telling you right now, when I say this, somebody's going to pop in your mind. You have a relationship with somebody that you really care about besides your spouse, that you really care about, that as soon as I say, who's your best friend, somebody pops into your head. Well, you're not my best friend, honey. I know it. Thank you. Okay, and so, but somebody pops into your head. Somebody you can tell about Jesus. Somebody who's not living right for God right now. How many know somebody that's really not living for God, but they're good people, you love them, but you don't know? But Philip searched for someone to tell about Jesus. Philip went and found somebody that he had to go tell about Jesus. He searched them out. So I'm going to ask you a question this morning. Have you searched somebody out in your head, just now in your spirit? Have you searched somebody out in your spirit? Because God will drop somebody in your spirit that he's already working on the other side of, that's just waiting for you to say, hey, can I tell you about Jesus? Oh, I don't believe that. I don't care what you believe. I just know from experience that Jesus will work on the other end, and then they're just waiting for you to broach the subject. And once you broach the subject, the floodgates open, and all of a sudden, now you're telling them about Jesus, and they have questions. They say, can anything good come from that place? I drive by that place and it's got van windows busted out of it. I drive by that place and it's got paint chipping off of it. I drive by that place and the sign's not working. Ticked me off the other day. Our sign's not working. I don't know what's wrong with it. Maybe mad. There's something else on the list. Amen. Item number 757. Okay. And so, but you drive by. Can anything good come from here? Can I tell you yes? Can I share with you that yes, something good could come from this place? It's just because they said, can anything good come from Nazareth? Nazareth was a little dirty town. Nothing of any significance had ever come from Nazareth. And so Nathanael says, Jesus from Nazareth? Are you kidding me? Can anything good come from Nazareth? And so he goes and talks to him and he says, listen, there's no way God is in that place. There's no way God is in that place. It doesn't look like much. You may not look like much, and you may not have the right clothes, and you may not have the right money, and the right everything else. But something is important inside of you, and his name is Jesus, and you've got to go tell them about Jesus. Somebody's got to tell somebody about Jesus, because we're running out of time and to sit around and say, well, somebody needs to do that. Baby, you're somebody. You're somebody. You're not just anybody. You're somebody. You're called by God to be a witness. You're called by God to be a testimony. You're called by God. Listen, the reason you went through all that crud is so you could go help somebody else. The reason that that guy was mean and beat you and all that stuff, but you made it through, was so you could go help somebody that's getting treated like trash. And you made it through. Go tell somebody about Jesus through your testimony. Guys, the reason she left you so you can survive and you can make it through. You didn't make it through just because you're so pretty. You made it through because God had carried you through that. So when you go on the other side, now you can go tell somebody about a man that helped you get all these things in your life straightened out and worked out. And so whenever we sit around and we say, oh, woe is me because I went through something. No, not woe is me. Oh is me because I went through something and God has carried me through so I can share something with you this morning about this thing. Now listen, I want you to tell you something. Listen, I don't know if you look like very much. That's all right. You don't have to look like a whole lot. Let them count you out one more time. Let them just count you. Let them not keep thinking that you have anything to say. But they don't know where you've been. They don't know what you've been through. They don't know what loads you carried. They don't know the hurt and the pain in your life. They don't know all those things that you walked through. They don't know your Red Sea experience when you walked through on dry ground, when your enemies were behind you, in front of you, and the wall, and God marched you through on dry ground because you didn't know what was going to go happen in your life. But God said, I got to get them out of this situation. And the wall of the water came up, and you walked through, and it looked like you was ever going to make it through. That ought to make a Baptist at least nod. And I'm just telling you this morning, somebody ought to just get excited about what God's done in your life and quit worrying about all the things you don't have and start thanking God for what you've been through and what you do have and where you're going in your life. That ought to make somebody at least say hallelujah. Listen, the woman at the well. Remember the lady at the well? I like this story. This is my favorite story. I like the story of the woman at the well. I have probably preached this more than I've preached anything ever. I used to get David. I used to preach a lot about David. I used to preach a lot to David. A lot about David. And man, I love this story. I love this story because Jesus didn't have to, but he said, I must needs to. It wasn't on the way, but he said, I gotta go. I gotta go speak to this girl. I gotta go find me somebody that I can speak to about the Messiah. If you have your Bible, turn to John chapter 4, verse 4. That's just 2 pages over. Turn right, young man, turn right. Okay. And he said, I must needs go through Samaria. Now, that's King James. Y'all just have to forgive me. Some of y'all young folks that look at me like, must needs go. I learned King James. I quote King James. I study everything. In my office right now, I actually was reading the contemporary English version of this story, which I like better, but it just doesn't sound real churchy to me. And so I don't know. God speaks in King James. And so, anyway, I don't know. So I'm sorry if that messes with you, but I don't know. Sorry. But he said, I must go through Samaria. How's that? Yeah. I got to go through Samaria. And so he went through Samaria. He goes to Samaria. Verse 5, it says, then there came the city of Samaria, which is called Sychar, near a parcel of ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now Joseph's well was there. I could go there, but I'm not. Jesus, therefore, being weary from his journey, sat thus on the well, and it was about the 6th hour, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm sorry, noon. Noon. I said it's noon, right? Yeah, 6 to 6. Okay, noon. My fault. So it's 6 o'clock. I was at noon when Jesus is sitting down. Now, I don't know how many of y'all have been at the desert. I'm thinking some of y'all have been to the desert. At noon, it's pretty cold, right? No. Pretty toasty about noon. Now, it's not a lot of humidity, but it's still toasty. If you've ever been to Arizona, you've ever been to Needles, California. Haven't ever been to Needles, California? Why did we go there? Anyway, because it's on I-40. and so we've got Needles, California. It's 197 degrees in the shade. And so that's an exaggeration joke, okay? And so, but it's hot. And so you go through there, and it's noon, and it's in the desert. And here comes this lady carrying a bucket. Jesus is sitting on a well. In verse 7 it says, there came a woman from Samaria to draw water, and Jesus said unto her, give me a drink. Give me a drink. I love this story because Jesus didn't waste any time. He just opened up conversation. He didn't say, hey. He didn't nod his head. He just said, hey, give me a drink. And she said, why are you talking to me? I'm a Samaritan. You're not even supposed to have any dealings with me. Why are you talking to me? He said, if you knew who talked to you, I'm just paraphrasing. If you knew who talked to you, you'd say, give me a drink and I'd give you living water. You'd never thirst again. She said, you ain't got a bucket. That's what she said. How are you going to draw water? You don't have nothing to draw water with. You don't even have a bucket. Don't lie to me, man. Don't lie to me. And so the woman said to him, sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, verse 11. And the well is deep. From whence hath thou this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well and drank it for himself, and his children and the cattle? Jesus answered and said to her, whoever drinks this water is going to get thirsty again. But I'll give you water that you'll never thirst again. She didn't understand what he's talking about, and half the church don't understand what he's talking about. Hello, am I dead? Hey, there. I'm back. And the woman said unto him, sir, give me water. Give me this water. Hello. Hello. I'm on. I'm live and loud. Is it cutting out or just me? Okay. And then I thought maybe my ears were going. God, okay. And so he said, and then I love this. He said, he cuts to the problem and says, go get your husband. And she said, I got a husband. And he said, you're right. But you've had 5, and Johnny ain't your husband. And you're living with him. Now understand this. It wasn't like it is today. Back in that day, the reason she was there at noon was because she was shunned. And she couldn't come when everybody else drew water. She had to draw water when nobody else was there. And so at noon is not when everybody goes draws water. Because it's hot part of the day. They either draw in the morning or the evening. They don't draw in the middle of the day. And she went when there wouldn't be anybody else there, or she thought. And so she goes there, and Jesus says to her, listen. He said, go get your husband. I don't have a husband. You're right, you don't. And Johnny, who you're living with now, he's not your husband, but you've had 5 of them. And she freaked her out a little bit. And she said, Sir, I perceive that you're a prophet. Our fathers worshipped in the mountains. And you say that in Jerusalem is a place where men ought to worship. But Jesus said, woman, you don't understand what you're talking about. And in a little while, it's not going to matter where you worship. In the mountain or in Jerusalem, it's not going to matter. But he began to talk to her, and he opened up the communication with her by saying this. I want something to drink. Because he knew if he could open up the conversation, and she was going to a place where she was definitely going to go get some water because she had a bucket and a well, right? He didn't ask her about her sandals. He said, hey, give me a drink. And so he opened up the communication with something that meant something to her, water. Because she's a desert person, and the most valuable thing in the desert is water. And she goes, and he opens up the conversation, and he spoke about water to a woman in the desert, so because she was a thirsty woman, and she needed water for her household, and he opened up the conversation with something that was pertaining to her life. Are you with me? What are you talking about, Brother Jeff? This is what I'm talking about. I'm not going to go to somebody that doesn't know anything about sports and start saying, hey, did you watch the game last night? You know why? Because they don't care. They didn't watch the game. They don't care if Golden State wins, loses, or draws. They could care less if Cleveland wins tomorrow or not. They don't care. They don't care who. They don't even know who's in the playoffs, much less who cares. They don't. Okay. Now I used to be really bad, and I used to remember, you know, I could memorize who was on whose team and all that stuff, but now they're the free agents and they move all the time, and so it's hard to do that. You root for teams now, or actually root for players more than teams. And so, but I was a Philadelphia 76er fan back in the 80s. Because I like Dr. J, I like Andrew Toney, and I like Mo Cheeks, Bobby Jones, Darryl Dawkins, Moses Malone. I hated Boston. Hated them. Why? Because Philadelphia could never beat them. Beat them one time in 1983. And they won the championship in 83. But I hated Boston. And I hated the Lakers. So when the finals came on, I could care less. I watched it. Kind of like this year, I watched it. But I don't care who wins. I don't really care. Because I don't care if Kevin Durant wins the championship or he doesn't win the championship. I don't care if Cleveland wins another. Well, Brock can win another one. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. So I'm not going to go talk to somebody that don't see like this. I'm talking to you. Y'all can care less. But I'm telling you, I'm not going to open up the conversation with something that I know you don't care anything about. I'm looking for an opportunity to open up a conversation with something that you care about. Why? Because that means you have to be perceptive about what's going on around you. You have to know who you're talking to. Remember I preached last Sunday night, I think it was Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night, about how the Holy Ghost fell and they began to speak in other tongues and the Spirit gave utterance, and every person heard in their own language, or every person got something spoken to them by somebody else that they understood. So what I'm saying to you is that you understand this, is that we have got to, there's people right now, Joey can talk to you about hunting. You know how many times I've been hunting in my life? Maybe twice. I don't care. I don't care anything about shooting stuff. I like shooting guns, but I don't care about getting out at 2 o'clock in the morning and freezing my tail end off and go sit in a tree stand and fall asleep. And I don't care about that stuff. Now you guys love it. And hallelujah. But you guys can care less about going and shooting baskets through a hoop into a net. You don't care anything about that. And that's fine and dandy. But listen, I don't know anything about it. My dad wasn't a hunter. My brother was a coon hunter, and I went twice with him. He had the light. Kept getting hit in the face with branches. But we're just having fun now. Boy, we're having a good time. Let's do this again. Chasing dogs through creeks and over barbed wire fences. Yeah, boy. Woo! That's just not my thing. Now, Daryl loves it. Daryl loves it. I'm glad. Keeping the coon population down. Hallelujah. That's great. But I don't care. And I had a friend of mine who's a duck hunter. Man, you gotta hate a duck to get up that early to go shoot one. I mean, that's free. I'm not doing that, man. He goes and shoots ducks like crazy. So, but I can talk to you about that. I know a little bit about it, but I don't know enough about it to hold a conversation. I don't know nothing about that stuff. But man, you want to talk about something else? Well, we can talk about some stuff. So Jesus, I just said all that to say this. Jesus opened up the conversation so she would understand about being thirsty. And he just said, hey, I'm thirsty. Can you give me the drink? And I'll try to hurry up. And he spoke to the woman that came to the well with more. He spoke to her. She came to the well with more than just a bucket. She had a lot of baggage. She had a lot of things going on in her life. And he spoke to a thirsty woman about something that would stop her thirst. And listen, and she wanted water. And she began to draw. He said, go call your husband. She said, I don't have one. He said, no kidding, but you've had 5. And she'd been passed around that village. Now understand, she had 5 husbands in the village. Come on now. Everybody knew who she was. Everybody knew who she was. And so, when Jesus spoke to her, she said, I perceive that you're a prophet. And he said, no, I'm not just a prophet. Let's go to start with verse 25. The Lord said to him, I know that the Messiah comes. It's called Christ. When he has come, he will tell us all things. In verse 26, he says, I am. I'm he. That's who I am. I'm the Messiah. And she left her bucket and she ran back to the city. I'm going to go somewhere. Y'all can you give me 5 minutes? I'll be serious with you for 5 minutes. Yeah. She ran back to the city to tell everybody. And the woman left her water pot and went her way to the city and said to this man, verse 29, come to see a man which told me all things which I ever did. Is this not the Christ? 30. And they went out to the city and came unto him. In the meanwhile, his disciples prayed him, saying, Master, eat something. Stop right there for a second. The disciples had gone to the city to get meat, and Jesus was talking to the woman at the well. And when the disciples got back, they were like, why is he talking to her? But nobody had the guts enough to say, Jesus, why are you talking to her? You're not even supposed to be by her. Why are you talking to her? This sorry old woman had 5 husbands, and now she's living with somebody else. Why are you even talking to her? But they didn't have the guts to say that to Jesus, but that's what they were thinking. And then they after the woman had left, they go, man, he must really be desperate for water or something to eat to be talking to a Samaritan woman. Jesus, we pray, eat something. Verse 32. Verse 32. But he said to them, I have meat that you don't even know of. I have to do what God has called me to do. Verse 33, he says, the disciples of one another, hath any man brought him out? Did somebody bring him something to eat? Verse 34, Jesus said to him, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me to finish this work. Listen, look at me, look at my nose. Look at me. We have a task. We have a task at hand. And I've been here a long time pastor now. Coming up on 6 years. That's a long time. That's a lifetime. I've seen a lot of babies born. I've dedicated a lot of babies. I've done a lot of weddings. I've done a lot of funerals. I've been here a long time now as pastor. And we got a job to do. We have a task at hand. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm ready to go do it. I'm ready to get off the bench. I'm ready to get off the bench. Yeah, I never did I wasn't 6'8" in high school. I was 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", in that area. My son weighs 200 pounds. I didn't weigh 200 pounds until I was 40 years old. 35. Sorry, okay. Really about 35. About 35. True state, about 35. Man, I've been married for 10 years and I had a lot of business gravy, okay? And so I'm just letting you know, okay? I wasn't 6'8". I hated sitting on the bench. Man, I hated it. I hated it. You know, because I always thought I was as good as everybody else. But I wasn't. I don't know. But in my mind, I was. And so, I hated it. Like I feel sometimes like I'm at church, like I'm sitting on the bench. Like man, we get this. You know, Josh is giving us this great speech. We're going to go, yeah, kill him, yeah. Woo! And we run out of the locker room and sit down and say, yeah, somebody needs to go do that. And the other team keeps scoring. And when do you go do that? Play some defense. And then, listen, I never was. Listen, I understand. I don't mean to. Y'all don't listen to this. Okay? Okay. I know we got to play defense. I get it. But man, you don't win unless you score. And I always felt like I was open after half court. So I'm just telling you that you score. You got to score to win, right? I know you got to stop the other team from scoring. Y'all don't do that. But you got to keep the other team from scoring. You do what your coach tells you to do. But listen, I grew up in the age of Billy Tubbs in Oklahoma, trying to score 200 points in a game. And that's the age I grew up in. And if they blew somebody out by 80, they didn't care. They just told them to get better. And so that's the God's honest truth. And so I grew up in that age where you just run and you shoot, and man, you just run. And you play, and you foul people, and you act like you mean it when you foul them and stuff like that. And now you get thrown out of the game for that. But anyway, this nugget, so y'all listen. So listen. Sometimes I feel like we're on the bench. And we're waiting for our opportunity. Can I share with you? You have an opportunity. You have an opportunity. And the lady went back to the village and said, "Come see. Come and see a man who showed me everything that I ever did in my life." And then Jesus says, and I'm about to quit. Jesus says in verse 35, "Did you not say there's yet 4 months and then comes the harvest? And behold, behold, I say to you, lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they're white already to harvest." I'm going to draw you a picture, and I'll leave you alone. Jesus is sitting on a well. Woman comes. Jesus says, "Give me a drink." She says to him, "I'm not going to give you a drink. Who are you to talk to me in the first place?" He said, "Listen, I can give you water that you'll never thirst again." She says, "You don't even have a bucket. How are you going to give me water?" And he says, "If you knew who it was that was talking to you, you'd be happy and you would give me a drink." And then he tells her about her husband and about her boyfriend. And she goes and says, "I perceive you're a prophet. There's supposed to be a Messiah." He says, "I'm the Messiah." And she says, "Whoa!" And sets her pot down and runs back to the village. Jesus is sitting there as she's running to the village. Are you with me? The disciples come up and say, "Do you want something to eat? Because I know you're crazy for talking to her. And do you know that she's had 5 husbands? We all know about her." And she's not. And Jesus is like, "Y'all don't even know what I'm talking about. Y'all just sit over there." He said, "Y'all have a say." Now look at me. Here's the guys. The guys are here. She's in the village. You with me? She's in the village. YMCA. Okay. And so they're coming. They're coming. And she goes telling everybody, "Hey, come and see a man who told me everything I ever did." With me? Look at my nose. Look at me. As Jesus is talking to them, and he says, "Don't you guys have a saying? 4 months and then there's a harvest. And I tell you, lift up your eyes already because of the harvest, and the fields are already white to harvest." Okay. Where are they looking when they lift up their heads? At the village. Because the Bible says everybody in the village came out to see him. Are you with me? So what was the harvest? The village. The people of the city that came out to see him was the harvest. Because some lady said, come and see, because Jesus preached Jesus to her and told her exactly what was going on. And so when he told the disciples to lift up their heads, the first thing they saw was a bunch of people coming, and because the harvest is not what you're getting stuff. The harvest is the people that Jesus is bringing. Come on, help me a minute. The harvest are the people that Jesus are drawing to the well, because he is the living water. And sometimes you got to draw people to the well in order to get a drink. Somebody better help me just a minute. So don't you understand that it's the people of the city that you're sitting in right now that God says, lift up your head because the harvest is ready. And somebody needs to go to a village and say, come and see. Come and see a man who told me all things I ever did in my life. And we need to quit worrying about who it was that said, come and see. And start worrying about who the harvest is that Jesus is bringing to the well to get a drink. Is that any good? I shouted in my office. I just said, is that any good? Because what happens is this, is that God begins to draw people. And he stayed for 2 days. And when Jesus stayed for 2 days, more and more and more believed on him. So much so that the city was saved because one woman said, come and see. Come and see. I have a question for you this morning. Are you that woman? Are you that man? Or can you not get past your past? You don't know what I've done. I don't care what you've done. Past is the past. Are you saying that there's no consequences? Then say that. There's always consequences. For every decision you make, there's consequences. You probably don't have the respect that you should have had by some decisions you've made. It's okay. Maybe you have more respect for decisions you made. It's okay. There's always consequences. For everything in your life, there's consequences. Especially in a small town. There's consequences. But can you get past your past to go tell somebody, come and see? I don't have a come and see up here. It just drives me crazy. Come and see. Right? Come and see what Jesus is going to do in your life. Come to the well. Come to the well. I want to show you what water that doesn't bring thirst again tastes like. Woo, that's good preaching for a white guy. Man, I can feel it. I can feel my help coming. Jesus is looking for somebody to just go out and say, come and see a man. One more second. I promise. Your past is bigger to you than it is to most people. You worry more about it. You remember it better than everybody else does. The thing about being a pastor in the church, the town that you grew up in. Yeah, I remember stuff. I remember people doing stuff. But my God, I've been out of school for 30 years. I've been out of high school for 30 years. Do you think I really remember every stupid thing we ever did? Do you really think I remember every stupid story, every stupid conversation we ever had? Do you think I really remember every incident where you talked about somebody that I liked? Man, this ain't high school. This is real life. And whether people, the guys I grew up with, or whether we like it or not, we're 48 years old. We're not 18 anymore. And so it doesn't really matter to me what you did in the past, because I'm hoping that you've grown in the last 30 years and you've grown up a little bit, and I'm hoping that God has done something in your life. But it doesn't really matter. And so it's weird to pastor in the town you grew up in, because everybody looks at you like, I know he does. Can I share with you? You weren't that important. I don't really remember it. It didn't like sear into my memory. And I don't dwell on stuff that happened in English class our sophomore year. I don't care. I don't dwell on that stuff. I don't think anything about it. So it's really weird to stand up and say, hey, guy, because I can't remember your name. Because I graduated with a bunch of kids. I don't remember all their names. Sorry. Well, that's just horrible. No, it's not. It's the truth. I didn't graduate with 12. We had 120 120 out or something like that I graduated with. 121 or something like nonsense. We had a bunch of kids that I know Luana's daughter, Nancy. I graduated with her. I graduated with Austin's dad. But I really don't, and man, and me and Lauren and Steve Anderson ran around together, and man, I remember some stuff. But I remember all that nonsense. Don't care. Hear me. All that to say this: the harvest is the city. But somebody's got to go see. Got to go say, "Come and see. Come and see what God will do." Stand your feet. I'll get that.